his ex-teammates. 4 RBIs, 6 hits, and he has scored a couple of runs. The Nats continue to pitch him out over the plate, and he's making them pay for it. And here's Craig Stammen. 1 start against Milwaukee at Miller Park. He only went 4 2/3 a couple of weeks ago and gave up 5 runs on 9 hits.
Well, it's time for Stammen to take a bite out of the Brewers. Still grounded, 160 ground balls versus 93 fly ball outs so far this year. A bear market. The first 2 times through the order, 255 off of Stammen. He really needs to bear down that 3rd time. 344 the 3rd time through the batting order. And in 12 of 17 starts, 1 walk or less, Bob.
Felipe Lopez leads off, and he takes a fastball that just misses outside. We're underway at 1:36, and it's partly cloudy, 86 degrees on South Capitol Street. And then a changeup, 2-0. The Nationals in this series have given up 4 first-inning runs on 5 hits. Riggleman, McCaddy want to see their pitcher off to a very efficient start today. Lopez will hit it in the air to left. Willingham got a late break, and that ball is caught over the shoulder. I've never seen Josh make a catch like that before. He didn't get a real quick start on it, but it was a wonderful finish. How about that?
Well, it is football season, and this is caught like a wide receiver going downfield. It gets over his head. The ball carries very well during the day. The hammer from Alabama goes back, and makes the grab. That is an absolute field play. You don't know when it's coming. You're just hoping that you get it in your glove. Nice play.
And when you spot it looking right back over the top, it's not in your line of sight that long before it's falling down to your glove.
And besides, that wall's coming up fast when you're running full speed.
Craig Counsell 0 for 5 in this series. Didn't start the ball game last night. And Stammen 2-0 to another hitter.
Well, at least we got Lopez out. That's a start.
Yes. Craig Stammen, 18th start. Looking for his 4th major league win. Gets that one in there, 2-1. Home plate umpire had a controversial night at first base last evening. And Chuck Merriweather has the plate today, 18-year veteran. In the air right field line. It's not hooking a whole lot, but just steered that way so that Mike Morse couldn't reach it. He's getting his first national start tonight. And then joining Chuck Merriweather, Mike Muchlinski, Laz Diaz, and the crew chief Mike Riley over at third base. Counsell hitting at 285. And the Brewers, they're eyeing the 500 mark if they could win here today and tomorrow. But they're still 9.5 back of St. Louis in the Central. They won their ball game at San Diego last night. The wild card race, Milwaukee's still 8.5 back. How to play left side.
Hopefully today, Bob, we can take the umpires out of the equation. Do everything right so we don't have to worry about close calls. Try to keep Jim Riggleman in the game. It would be nice to do that.
Jim said, I thought my chances of getting run were pretty well. I'd been out there 3 times. And on a ball hit to center, Nyjer Morgan barely has to move. 2 outs. Nationals defense, bit of a different look today as Mike Morse gets the start in right field. And we're looking forward to seeing him hack 3 or 4 times. Ronnie Belliard deserves another start today after his 4 RBIs last night. And I asked Jim Riggleman this morning about Josh Bard. He doesn't start against many left-handed pitchers. He's only had 29 right-handed ABs this year. Will Nieves has been in there for the last couple of days, and Jim Riggleman has a lot of faith in Josh's ability to hit the ball right-handed. Ryan Braun, 3 hits in the series, couple of RBIs. He jacks that one foul. Man, these guys don't get cheated, do they?
No, they do not, and I think that's the end of that bat.
It sounded like he broke it.
Yeah, it did. How about this? Pedro Martinez's return to New York. Oliver Perez gave up 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Here's the swing off of Braun's bat. Jammed a little bit, sounded like he broke it.
Jason Worth and Carlos Ruiz, first inning homers for the Phillies.
Yep.
And a 6 on the board in New York.
Kind of like that before you even have to tote the rubber that you're up 6-0 if you're Pedro Martinez.
Everybody's probably going crazy right about now as he takes them out. And the 0-1 to Braun. Fastball up. Ryan Braun, 9th in the league in hitting and homers, 4th in RBIs, 3rd in hits, with Ryan Zimmerman 2nd in runs.
Stammen's overthrown a little bit. Come out of the bullpen sometimes. You're pumped up. We talked about this with our youngsters. Got to settle down. You're a ground ball pitcher. Keep the ball low, especially with this Brewers team.
A chopper. Zimmerman does charge it. Gloves it beautifully and on target to Adam Dunn. A very difficult play that Ryan Zimmerman made look fairly easy. Brewers and the Nats. Game 3 of this 4-game series. Nationals up to 3rd in the league in hitting at 266, 6th in runs and 8th in home runs. Lots of offense last night. 3rd career grand slam. Ronnie's 107th career home run. And he gets a spot in the number 6 hole behind Josh Willingham. And Willingham back in the lineup despite going 2 for 16 lately. He had the night off last night, so he'll be well rested. Christian Guzman back in the lineup, and he's 4 for his last 30. Manny Parra, a bit of a mystery to me. A talented young 26-year-old left-hander, a former 26th-round draft pick back in 01. And I think the Brewers know he's better than the numbers he's putting up right now. And 2 of them right down the middle to Nyjer Morgan, who's 3 for 9 in the series with a run and an RBI. Nyjer's overall numbers, he's hitting .361 as a Nat and a 0-2 changeup low. Now against this left-hander, the Brewers play him a little bit over to the left. So they know the lefty will try to get him out away maybe with a breaking pitch. That one's front door stays up and in. But the center fielder, Mike Cameron, is on the left side of center field. He was over almost in front of the Geico sign last night with the right-hander pitching. They're going to have to hurry, and Escobar can't handle it. And Morgan's halfway to second base right now. You better get the ball back in. I would imagine they'll give him a hit.
Yeah, that's
because on a backhand play, he would probably beat it anyway.
This is a shot hit to Escobar. You know how quickly that Nyjer's getting out of the box. That hit skin, it looks like. Yep, right off the heel of the glove, over the glove.
And the Milwaukee catcher, Mike Rivera, doesn't play a whole lot this year. He's only been in there for 28 games. So the Nats could be turning up the running game here early, trying to make something happen. It's tough, though, with a lefty looking right at that base runner.
Well, and also the fact it's a day game after night game, and maybe Parra hasn't been working well with Kendall. He's got a lot of strange statistics working against him so far this year. A lot of walks, 62 walks in 113 innings. So 145 hits and 114 innings pitched.
4 for 17 on caught stealings is Mike Rivera. Christian Guzman bats from the right side today, and from that side of the plate, 320 on the year. He's a very unusual switch hitter in that he gets fewer at bats from the right side, but he generally hits for higher average. And he's got power from the right side too. Morgan started, then stopped, and the pitch is up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Over the last 8 games, Guzman only 4 for 30. Let's watch the jump.
There you see the jump.
But he never put his head down, so he was looking at home plate all the way. And it's always nice when you have the pitcher off the stretch to his second hitter of the day, and he's distracted because of speed at first. Not to mention all that hitting room on the right side. About 80 feet of it. That's the 3rd throw over.
All right, here's the lead by Nyjer Morgan. He's trying to get out to this little cut with his left foot. Especially against a left-hander, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Good base stealers are trying to get all the way to the edge of that cut before they take off. Now, for a right-handed pitcher, if that guy leaves your peripheral vision, Bob, you have to throw over. He's getting way too much of a lead.
Right.
For a lefty, you're staring right at him, so you know exactly where Nyjer Morgan's trying to get to. If he gets that left foot near the cut of the grass, you have to throw over. He's got too much of a lead.
And you folks at home, if he throws over for a 5th time, feel free to boo in your living room. It's fine. They're booing here. And Guzman hits a double play ball.
No, he didn't get that.
He never even caught the ball.
Well, he knew Nyjer was coming.
And Alcides Escobar has had 2 balls in and out of his glove. Well, the first one never got in there, but this one did. And he never really had control. It's 2 on, nobody out.
Well, this is a surefire double play right here. Parra sets him up nicely. And you're going to see he's looking right at Nyjer Morgan coming, never looking at the ball.
Yeah, never had control.
Never had control. So that's a rookie. I'm not going to say a rookie mistake. That was a rookie feeling the heat of a base runner bearing down on him.
Fielder's choice, E6. And a golden opportunity for the Nats to go on top here. Here's Zimmerman.
You've got to take advantage of this.
And this is one hitter, Rob, who has liked facing this pitcher. Five career hits by Zimmerman against Parra. And a couple of walks. Ryan took a big time rip, and it's 0-2.
Ken Maka not liking what he's seeing from his rookie shortstop so far today.
Escobar in the lineup, and he's batting 9th. They have the pitcher batting 8th today because of his speed. Not a bad 0-2 pitch under Ryan's hands. Zimmerman in this series 1 for 8, a home run off Trevor Hoffman Friday night. 2 RBIs, couple of runs. And the big fella on deck. But Zimmerman and Dunn are 2 for 14 combined in this series. Both home runs. Morgan is running, and so's Guzman.
Could be 2.
Nyjer scores easily. Guzman to 3rd, and the Nationals take the lead. Now there's nobody there to cut off the throw. And Zimmerman intelligently takes second base. After going up the middle for the ball, Escobar never recovered and was in no position to grab the throw in. The Nats making some things happen here and getting a little help.
Great job right here of Ryan Zimmerman putting that breaking ball in play. Runners were moving. Escobar out of position. Right there, gets by him. He's trying to get the double play ball. So 1 run scores. It's second and third with Zimmerman alertly hustling to second base as that ball went all the way into the infield before Prince Fielder could get it. So now Chris Bosio will come out and have a chat. But Bob, everything went right on that play for the Nationals.
Well, and the key is, look how far Zimmerman is beyond first base, because the first baseman is in there to be a cutoff man, and there's nobody guarding the bag.
Well, we talk about that a lot with runners. Take an aggressive turn at first base. You never know what's going to happen, and that means hustling down to first base. And you saw Nyjer Morgan on just his ball hit that went off of Escobar. He ran halfway to second base before he had to, where he almost threatened them to throw the ball to first base and tease them a little bit. So, you know, it's all about making the defense make perfect plays.
Adam Dunn, second and third, nobody out. He goes up ripping. And by the way, no matter what happens in this inning, Morgan's run will be unearned because he was supposed to be out on the front end of a would-be double play. The Nats are taking advantage here. Zimmerman has his 83rd RBI. He got his batting average back up over 300. And Adam Dunn looking for RBIs, number 89, maybe 90 here. Breaking ball, did he go? Mike Riley says no.
You know, teams that put pressure on the defense, like the Los Angeles Angels, have scored almost 700 runs so far this year. Right there, looks like he held up, didn't break the plane. But Bob, they only have 138 home runs. But as a team, they're hitting 290, over a 350 on base percentage. They're one of the best at running first to third.
Adam Dunn breaks his bat. That ball is caught. Guzman tags, comes down the line a little, but it's caught by Felipe Lopez for the first out.
Let's give you the scouting report. PNC Bank scouting report on Manny Parra. Total recall 5-1 since he came back from the minor leagues. Beware of Ryan Zimmerman, now 6 for 9 off of Parra. And Streaky Star has had a 5-game winning streak this year, an 8-game winning streak last year. Twice this year has had 2 4-game losing streaks. So once he's going good or going bad, it's a while before he turns the corner.
And a big spot for Josh Willingham in his return to the lineup. 0 for 4 Friday night, only 2 for his last 16 on this homestand. Second and third, 1 out. And Willingham pops it up. That's not going to get it done. Shortstop Escobar still backpedaling. 2 outs. Willingham went up first pitch swinging. This would be a horrible inning to waste with only 1 unearned run. It'll be up to Ronnie Belliard to do something about that.
Let's see if Belliard can get a hanging curveball here. Smoke it.
Ronnie Belliard played for the Brewers from '99 to '02, and in a Milwaukee uniform he had .295, .263, and .264. But then he hit .211 in '02 and they let him go. Then he went on to Cleveland, St. Louis. He's been in Washington since '07. Nats signed him as a minor league free agent back in February of '07. It was right at the start of spring training. And a 1-0 to Ronnie. That's a strike. Well, Pedro greeted rather rudely. The Mets just got 2 off him in the bottom of the first in New York. What's the score of that game going to be?
I don't know. That's going to be a fun one.
Fastball inside.
Well, we know Ronnie Belliard loves the ball middle of the plate in. Anything on that side of the plate, he is hacking.
Angel Pagan hit a home run off Pedro in that game. And a 2-1 to Belliard. Outside, but he gets the call. That's the second generous outside corner or near that Chuck Merriweather has given him in this at bat.
Northrop Grumman, come on, Chucky, this ball's out.
2-2 to Belliard.
Not where he catches it, it's where it crosses the plate.
He's going to sit up out there again. And Ronnie Belliard knows he better be swinging.
Well, now with 2 strikes, you have to go into defensive mode or protection mode. Ronnie's been great lately, going the other way, getting some clutch hits to right field.
Two and 2 to Ronnie with 2 men aboard. Belliard strokes one into right field. Guzman home. Zimmerman will score. And the Nationals lead 3-0. Ronnie Belliard 6 RBIs in the last 2 games. You know, and that's a great at bat, Rob, because the umpire set this whole thing up by calling everything out there a strike, so Belliard going out there to get it.
And it was a really nice breaking ball on the outer half by Parra, but you know what? Good hitters will hit, and Ronnie Belliard is on fire. He's confident, and he takes that ball the other way, Bob. If he tries to pull it, ground ball, they're out of the inning. So that was a great job of hitting by Ronnie Belliard.
And now Josh Bard batting right-handed. He's 8 for 29 this year. And he hits the ball pretty well to left center, but it's grabbed by Ryan Braun. Ronnie Belliard makes it a big inning. The Nats get 3 runs, all of them unearned, but boy, do they count.
You know, if you had a couple Cy Youngs in there, you'd still be concerned. You know, you're as a manager, you kind of manage by what if, you know, or what if he gets hurt, or what if he's not sharp today, or, you know, you have to kind of live by Murphy's Law a little bit. But I'm concerned about him because I don't want him to get discouraged.
Jim also told me that he and Steve McCatty continue to encourage the young pitchers as they work together. They also try to pump each other up. But in their last 5 starts, Nats pitchers have tallied only a total of 20 innings. That's 20 innings for the starters. Not good, Bob.
And hopefully Craig Stammen goes far beyond that today. He has a lead to work with, and he faces Prince Fielder here in the top of the second. By the way, this is the first time on this homestand the Nats have had a lead since the 2nd inning Tuesday night. They actually led Colorado for 1 inning, 2-1. Up the middle, and Craig's got it. Waits for Dunn to get to the bag, and 4 in a row to start the game. Well done.
Well, talking about the starting pitching, it's also, you have to go along with the game, and your offense is busting their butts. That should make you kick it in a notch. and ramp up your energy level. And I just haven't seen it out of the starters. You can't just be happy to be in the major leagues. Hey, I'm a rookie. I'm in the that's not what it's all about. You've been pitching for 15, 20 years. Some of these guys, you know how to pitch. Go out and do the job.
Well, I know when we cover college athletics, there's a point in the season when you say, he's not a freshman anymore. He's not a sophomore anymore. This is that point of this season. Basically, some of these guys have been here for 4.5 months. Are they still rookies or not?
Yeah. John Lannon's got over 60 starts in the major leagues, and he needs to turn it around. And that means if you go out there with nothing, you still should be able to go through the order twice, at least, 5th or 6th inning on. And we're just not seeing it. And you still see the offense hammer away, come back. And I feel for him, because as a former pitcher, you have to look inside that locker room and say, you guys keep busting your butts getting 6-7 runs a game, and we keep giving it up. Eventually, you're going to want to turn it around and have some pride.
Rand Stammen slips one by upstairs on Mike Cameron. That'll be his first strikeout.
Right here, Stammen's got some good stuff working now here in the 2nd inning. Throws a big breaking ball that was up in the 1st inning. Now he's settled down. It's down, strike 3. Bottom line, professionally, next season, you can't be thinking about, well, hey, we got 80 losses, 43 wins, 80 losses. This team will be totally revamped next year. So
Frank Catalanotto,
you want to be on it. So that means the next 39 games, you better be busting your butt. Yep.
Catalanotto only 52 games, 94 at bats this year, but a good part-time player. He's hitting .309, and that's 17 points above his career average. He's always been a hitter for the Tigers, Rangers, Blue Jays, and back to Texas the last 2 years. And the count goes 2-2 on Catalanotto. Oakland still has the youngest staff and the busiest staff. Look at that. They've pitched 130 innings more than the Nationals' young pitchers have. Man, you look at Washington, Baltimore, Oakland. Those 3 teams are a combined 80 games out of first place. High in the air, center field. Nyjer Morgan using his glove as a shade. Look at Morse over there to help him out. That a way to hustle Mike Morse. And 6 in a row for Craig Stammen to start. $3-0 after an inning and a half. Tomorrow is Dollar Kids Day. It's a 4:35 game. You can purchase up to 4 tickets for kids ages 2 to 12 for $1 each. with the purchase of one full price adult ticket in any seating area except for the President's Club, Diamond Club, and the Grandstand. Offer good at the box office tomorrow only. The kids must be with you at the time of purchase. Cannot be combined with any other offers, so bring the kids on down. Ages 2 through 12 get in for $1 on Dollar Kids Day tomorrow.
And I wanted to touch upon what you said about the Oakland Athletics and their young pitchers. They're 9th in the American League in pitching, ahead of some really good pitching teams like the Angels, the Minnesota Twins, and the Kansas City Royals that have some really young pitchers that are good on that squad.
So they're finding out who their building blocks are for the future.
Absolutely.
The Nationals are still evidently pretty early in that process. Here's Mike Morse, 0 for 2 as a Nat. He lined out hard to Prince Fielder, pinch hitting on Friday night. And last night, he struck out swinging. So we're looking forward to watching this guy hack. He thought he held up, but the Nats aren't getting any of those 50-50 calls lately.
Yeah, he broke the plane.
Morse was hitting .339 at 44 games at Syracuse when the Nats called him up. And combined with Tacoma before Seattle traded him over here, .322, 16 homers, 86 RBIs in 110 games. 27-year-old from Fort Lauderdale, and he takes it up and away. 3-2. Nats traded Ryan Langerhans to Seattle for Mike on June 28th. He had shoulder reconstruction surgery last April for a torn labrum and only played 5 games all year.
I'll finish on this last thing and we'll get back to the game about the starters. They keep telling starters in the major leagues that a 4.5 earned run average in 6 innings pitched is a quality start. That's garbage.
Yeah.
It never will be. It never has been a quality start.
Morse rips one down the left field line. He'll be digging for a couple. Mike had 12 doubles and 3 triples at Syracuse, and he hit that ball extremely hard. Now this brings up an interesting situation. We'll talk about Stammen batting after the replay.
There's just a shot on the inner half. He's trying to get us out either away with fastballs and breaking balls or inside with fastballs and breaking balls. And to this point, not tricking too many people. This is just a shot by the number 8 hitter Morse down the left field line.
Now 95% of the time in this situation your pitcher's bunting. But Craig Stammen is a good hitting pitcher. He has 6 hits and 4 RBIs this year. The Nats could switch off. Prince Fielder doesn't think so. He's charging hard and the fastball is up. And by the time that pitch was delivered, Prince Fielder was closer to the hitter than the pitcher was.
Oh, he's 20 feet away.
And if Stammen takes a late swing, the ball would be by Prince Fielder before he'd even see it.
And the way you combat that is to do a slug bunt, which is not a bunt. It's not a swing. You keep your hand on the bat like you're bunting, and you pull it back a little bit, and then just try to slap it in play. So all the infielders are moving because they think it's a bunt. And that'll keep the corner infielders from rushing you like Prince Fielder is right now. Prince Fielder right now is about 70 feet away from the hitter.
The other thing they're doing is leaving Counsell close to third. They're dying to get a tag play over there. Down by 3 already. Stammen deadens it. Here comes Fielder, but he doesn't have a play at third. It was bunted so well.
Nice.
Craig Stammen, 4 sacrifices, 4 RBIs, and 6 hits this year. And he gets Morse to third base with 1 out.
Well, not very easy right here if you're a pitcher, but you see right there where he bunts that ball way out in front of the plate, makes the first baseman come all the way to the third base side to field it. So a great job by Craig Stammen. As Bob said, there was no play at third. And that's helping yourself and helping the team out by doing the job.
Here's Nyjer Morgan. A chance with another runner at third, less than 2 outs. Suicide squeeze! And it works! And the Nationals lead 4-0. That is beautiful baseball when it works. Jim Riggleman called one in Cincinnati that didn't work. This one was perfect.
Right there, Morgan does not give it away too early. That's the key to this play working. Morse is coming. Everybody knows it because they already communicated it. But the key is don't square too early. Make the pitcher throw it, then come around and bunt it.
I mean, Morse was already home when the ball got picked up. And now Guzman, I told you he's strong from the right side of the plate. And he homers for the 6th time this year. The Nationals lead 5-0. Some small ball and some big ball by the Nats here.
Northrop Grumman on the pitch track, fastball down and in, doesn't make it there. Goodbye, Mr. Rawlings.
Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse, and great to have some of their folks with us here at the ballpark today. And the Nats a powerhouse with Guzman. 5-0. Here comes Zimmerman. 5 runs on 5 hits. Well, what a perfect time though for that squeeze call. Your best bunter and base runner in the batter's box. And then Guzman hits a big fly.
And that's why it's so upsetting to watch our pitchers not hold on to some of these leads. Score 14 runs so far in 11 innings of play. You should win those games.
Craig Stammen so far today, 6 in a row. He goes back to work. And the Nats lead by
today. And just a reminder, the Washington Nationals and the First Ladies have extended the back-to-school drive. So we encourage you to bring your school supplies here to the center field gate. You can meet these lovely ladies and also make a difference in the community. This will be going on today through the 4th inning and tomorrow through the 4th inning as well. Back to you, Bob and Rob.
All right, Debbie Taylor, thank you so much. That's a great idea, extending it, because we do have one more day game tomorrow. And tomorrow will be, I guess, a lot of our kids in town, their last chance to see a ball game before it's back to the books. Sharing some time with Dad and with Mom on a Sunday at the ballpark, and the home team's on top. Number 7 hitter for the Brewers is catcher Mike Rivera, hitting .253. Now remember, on the opening lineup, the pitcher is hitting next. Manny Parra is 8th, and now Alcides Escobar 9th. Had him 0-2, had him reaching, got him out. Guzman takes care of it. And we talked about this before. Some managers will bat a pitcher 8th. Tony La Russa has done it at times for years. He first did it in 1998 to get another guy at the bottom of the order hopefully on base by the time Mark McGwire came up. I know that Ned Yost did it in Milwaukee, and now his successor Ken Maka does it as well. And there's Escobar waiting. Parra this year 4 for 36 with 3 RBIs. He's not an automatic out, but Stammen gets ahead of him 0-2. And he throws him that off-speed pitch.
Going right through the wickets.
Well, Josh knew nobody was on base, didn't have to block it.
I think he was just letting Chuck Merriweather take one up the foot. You mess up a call on me again.
That ball driven, and that is over the right fielder, Mike Morse, to the scoreboard. And Manny Parra gets his second double of the year among his 5 hits. Well, that wasn't in the game plan after the count went to 0-2.
Well, this is a hanging breaking ball. Parra all over it. Mike Morse takes a bad route, steps in a couple of steps, and it's right over his head.
Well, you talk about those breaking balls when they end up strikes. Look out, even with a pitcher swinging the bat.
Yeah, you know, that breaking ball, you're not throwing it for strike 3. You're throwing it in the dirt, so it's a swinging strike 3.
Here's Alcides Escobar. He's only played 9 games for the Brewers, 8 for 25. So he's hitting .320. He's 22 years of age, from Vargas, Venezuela. He signed with this organization 6 years ago at the age of 16. And he was hitting .298 with 42 steals at Nashville when they called him up. That was 11 days ago, the day they sent J.J. Hardy to AAA, and they designated Bill Hall for reassignment.
Okay, if you're Craig Stammen, you got to get back on track. Forget the double you just gave up. You're throwing a good game, very solid, getting ahead of people. Well, I don't mind the way they do this, though, because, like you said, speed in the 9-hole, then Lopez, Counsell, and then you got Braun Fielder, Cameron coming up. So they're just trying to get some. They don't have a very good running game, so they're just trying to get some ducks on the pond.
I know that in days past there were good hitting pitchers who used to lobby their managers to hit 8th. I know Bob Gibson did, Don Drysdale did.
Well, you got to be able to handle the bat.
But managers just didn't seem to want to do it years ago.
You may come up and like, you know, say you've got the number 7 guy on base. You got to be able to hit behind him. You got to do a hit and run.
Oh, that was a good pitch. Had him reaching on 2-2. Belliard in a hurry, knowing who was running, and that's the second out.
Well, maybe this isn't the worst thing in the world if he can get out of this without giving up a run here. Keep Parra out there a little longer. He's had 2 long innings. Hits a double. He's running the bases. Breaking ball down and away where it should be. Escobar hits it right to second base. Ronnie Belliard knows he's got some speed and he rushes the throw. Nice.
Here's Felipe Lopez. Hit the ball over the head of Josh Willingham first time, but Josh Witten got it. I still haven't seen the Nationals in this series throw one pitch up and in on Lopez. I think you can take the wind out of his sails if you intimidate him some. That's a changeup blowing away.
Or set that pitch up by knocking him off the plate, not hitting him, but knocking him back. It sets up the changeup away. And that's just pitching. It's simple stuff.
But if you let a guy stand there comfortably for a 4-game series and never challenge him inside, a lot of guys are going to do damage.
All right. A little bit of it, but I agree. I've said this from day one we started working together. Your job as a pitcher, make the hitter uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to gain a mental edge.
But there are certain hitters that just do not like to be pitched inside to.
No,
and Felipe's one of those guys.
And if you can find the guy in the lineup that you can do that with, he goes back to the dugout and he's like, yeah, he's really throwing inside. I mean, that guy's panicking. But if you're a Felipe Lopez, you go, yeah, he's not. They're not pitching inside. They're throwing it right in there. The rest of the lineup's pretty confident.
That's a breaking ball, sitting up where he could hit it. And 2 breaking balls by Craig Stammen give the Brewers a run here in the 3rd inning.
No, if you're not going to locate this pitch better, stop throwing it, because he's throwing it for strikes when he's ahead in the count, helping the hitters right there. You're basically helping Lopez get a hit when you throw a breaking ball that high.
And that might be the only pitch that the pitcher could have hit. A breaking ball for a strike. So it's 5-1. Live and learn. Here's Counsell. But I see the living part of it, but from night to night, not necessarily the learning part of it.
I agree. And here's the thing I've said before is that if that pitch isn't working, why is the catcher still calling it? Like Will Nieves last night. If the guy's not throwing a good pitch, they're whacking it all over the field. Why are you still calling it? Stop calling it. Just say, you know what? He doesn't have that pitch tonight. I'm taking it right off, putting it right on the shelf, out of his repertoire.
Yeah, and then sometime if it's 0-2, throw it in the dirt. Now there's a good changeup blown away. Had Counsell reaching.
And then if the why do you think that Navarro last year and Matt Garza had a fight in Texas in the dugout? Because the catcher was basically saying, listen, you don't have something working, I'm not going to call it. And after that point on, Matt Garza grew up and started saying, you know what, I need to get along with my catcher, and I have to have confidence in what he's calling.
Well, and you're not out there to be a macho man, you're out there to get people out.
Exactly.
And you need your catcher to do that, but they need to be on the same page. Counsell in this series 0 for 6. He flied to center first time today. Lopez doesn't run much these days. Felipe, 6 steals on the year, caught 5 times.
Well, in the book I'm reading about Thurman Munson, it talks about 74-75. He made 25 errors. They were all throwing errors because he had a bum shoulder. But because he called such great games and was such a great catcher, he got 2 gold gloves. That was out of respect at how he called the game.
And here's another thing. Craig Stammen cannot walk Craig Counsell. This guy has very little power. You have Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder, the next 2 hitters. This inning needs to end here, but you have to make Counsell put the ball in play or strike him out. And at bat right here could turn a 5-1 game around in a hurry. Counsell helps by swinging at ball 3. Well foul.
Oh, throw that changeup in the dirt again. I mean, there's no reason why with that changeup in his fastball, the way he sets it up and he gets ground ball, that he can't just go fastball changeup when he's throwing the curveball up in the zone.
And it's hit to the right side. Belliard, he was right on the edge of the dirt. That's a big out to keep the big guns out of the batter's box until next inning. Brewers get 1, the Nats lead by 4. One more cotton candy before school starts. You're not going to get that in the cafeteria, buddy.
Nope, not with the healthy lunches they serve at schools now.
Dunn, Willingham, and Belliard for the Nats, bottom of the third.
I used to like Fridays. It was grilled cheese Friday. Loved it.
We had mustacholi Monday.
Some schools might have pizza Friday. We had government grilled cheese Friday. Where else did that cheese come from? Come on, you can't buy that kind of cheese.
It comes from Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, that thick and gooey.
Ask any of these brewer guys; they know where the cheese comes from.
Sit in your stomach like a lead weight.
Adam Dunn has just hit a home run, folks. He just reached out and hooked that ball to the second deck. The Nats get that run back in a hurry. His 33rd of the year, and Washington leads 6-1. The big hoss. He made that look pretty easy.
Yeah, he did. And sometimes we take it for granted. This is a good hitting man right here, not just a power guy. Waits on that breaking ball, keeps the hands back. And it's a Sunday souvenir.
Here's Josh Willingham. 2 homers by the Nats today, 120 on the year now.
And I saw Adam eyeballing Belliard yesterday after the grand slam. So he's probably, you know what, you think you're pretty good, don't you? Well, let me show you how it's done.
He's showing us up.
Yep.
Last year, the Nationals hit 117 homers the entire year. Only the Giants with 94 hit fewer. So they're going far beyond their production of 08. Willingham slaps it hard. Prince Fielder gets that big body of his behind it and plays it well. 1 out.
Boy, the more I watch him, the more I like Prince Fielder. He'll get in front of the ball. He'll dive out of foul territory for a ball. Hustle all the time on the base paths.
Ronnie Belliard dumped a single over Prince Fielder for 2 runs. And really, that's the big hit of the game. The Nationals had a 1-run first. There were 2 outs. Dunn and Willingham had both popped up, and Ronnie Belliard took care of business and brought in Guzman and Zimmerman. And then 2 more in the second, another run here in the third. Ronnie Belliard's batting average now up to 244. A ways to go to his 275 career.
Yeah, but it's much better than when he was on I-95.
That's right. He had 287 for the Nats last year with an on-base percentage of 372. Hit 11 homers and drove in 46 runs, 22 doubles. He jacks this ball, but it's hooking foul with home run distance.
He hit that too good. Man. Yeah, many pars not tricking too many people right now. Let's check out the Exmo swing, head down. A lot of power generated by this guy. And you see the bat head. I mean, look at that out front of the plate.
That's where home runs are hit.
For young kids, that's what it's all about. Get that bat out in front of the plate.
Good take, 3-2. That also means on that pitch, Ronnie's seeing the ball well. Josh Bard next, 1 out here in the third. And he'll have a runner aboard. First walk of the day by Manny Parra, who is struggling big time right now. He threw 37 pitches in the first 2 innings. The Nats have him up to 49 now. The bullpen quiet, but only 1 out in the third. I know Ken Maka is in that dugout, just 2 words going through his head right now. Double play, double play.
Well, it's Stammen with his struggles in the third inning, up to 53 pitches already.
Yeah, 24 in that frame alone. Man, pitchers work some long innings these days, don't they?
I just think they overwork it. They pitch too much. Just get the ground ball out, get the fly ball out, get out of there.
You make it sound so easy.
No, I mean, if you pitch to contact, make them hit your pitches. You know, don't try to always miss their bat. Because you're working way too hard.
Well, that's what John Lennon was doing when he was going 7 and 8 innings almost every time out for that stretch he had last month and the month before.
You got a good defense behind you. Use it. Let these guys catch the ball. Let them play in the game. You don't got to do it all yourself.
To Josh, who hit the ball well, flied out first time. He's struggling a bit too for his last 22. What Bart said yesterday about his hitting is a lot what you're talking about. He said, I think I've talked myself into a slump. I didn't get a couple of hits, and then I started messing with mechanics and changing everything. I'd never heard a hitter quite put it that way, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, the guy a couple of doors down talks about that all the time. That's 6 inches between your ears. It's the worst thing for an athlete. Start thinking.
The old coach advice, don't think you're hurting the ball club.
Yep. Keep it simple, stupid. The old KISS method.
Inside 2-1. You know, now this is where a struggling hitter, okay, what's he going to throw me? I'm ahead in the count. What'll I do? If he's going well, he steps in the plate or up to the plate, doesn't have any thoughts. He's just going to see it and hit it. Carlos Villanueva.
Well, and when things don't work as far as pitching goes, compete. Go out there and say, okay, you know what? I don't have anything working today, but I'm still going to get you out. You have to be confident enough in your skill to do that. You were playing on a sand lot or playing, you know, wiffle ball or whatever. You're competing, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that's what our guys need to do. Stop trying to be so mechanical and robotic, and I have to throw all of my pitches.
There's Bosio watching, a 2-2 coming. That's a good take. Ball 3 again. Villanueva has been a part-time starter lately for the Brewers, not really listed on their bullpen sheet, but he's warming up right now.
2-2 pitch track. Just a bit outside. Maybe a couple innings ago that was a strike.
I just saw Jim Riggleman give a signal to Grissom and the base runner Belliard. We'll see if Ronnie's moving on a 3-2 pitch. He's not. And Bart will fly out to center.
That's why.
That'll bring up Mike Morse with 2 outs, who doubled hard down the left field line to get the Nats on their way to a 2-run second inning. So he's 1 for 3 as a Nat. This is a big guy. Mike is listed 6'5", 230. Lives in Plantation, Florida. He was rated the #7 shortstop in the Sunshine State, coming out of Nova High School in Davie, which is right next to Fort Lauderdale. Davie, Florida is the home to one of our favorite golf courses, Grand Oaks, where they filmed Caddyshack. Fun thing to have in your neighborhood.
I never slice.
I knew you had a line.
Oh, I mean,
there's no, you don't. Cinderella moment. And that one is a little bit outside to Mike, 1-1.
It's in the hole. I like when Rodney Dangerfield comes in the room though, and he looks at Judge Schmale's wife, goes, "Hey, you must have been great before electricity."
Wow. but that hat looks good on you.
Yep.
All right, back to baseball. And Morse pounds it on the ground. Knocked down by Counsell. Everybody's safe. And the Brewers aren't able to squeeze the ball very well today. Craig Counsell will probably get his 5th error of the year. That'll help because Stammen gets to the plate.
Counsell's more of a middle infielder, but he's versatile enough to play third base. Morse hits a shot. Boom. Another hop in between. Can't pick it up.
Brewer defense 9th in the National League. They've made 73 errors with their 2 today. And Craig Stammen could really help his team and give himself a big lead here. 2 outs, he can wail away. He has 6 hits. and 4 RBIs this year. And we've seen him hit a couple of really impressive line drives up the middle. I remember a double he hit in Florida right over the head of the second baseman. He's a big guy. Craig listed 6'3", 220. He can hack. Got a little frisky on a pitch away. 0-2. Eight to 4 in New York, by the way. Phillies and the Mets in the 4th inning. Stammen, little pop-up. Prince fielder. Foul ball. Inning over. The Nats get a run on the lead-off hook to right field. Watch how easy Adam Dunn swings. Watch how quickly. Washington. Let's go to the top of the 4th inning. Braun, Fielder, and Cameron. But first, Aflac trivia.
What do you got for us, Midwick?
Little wiggle. Pride of Prince, the last Brewer to lead the league in home runs.
Wow, let's see, Gorman Thomas.
One of Harvey's wall bangers back in the early 80s.
Possibly.
I wonder if that one might go all the way back to Henry Aaron or Eddie Matthews.
Or Harmon Killebrew.
But they said Brewer, right?
Brewer.
And those guys were Braves. Rob Deere was a Brewer.
That's right.
Okay, so no. Well, Hank did play for the Brewers, but that was right at the end of his career. So no Aaron, no Matthews. Gorman Thomas is a good. Let's see, who else did they have that really hit for power?
Greg Vaughn. Johnny
Didn't he hit 42 one year, Vaughn?
Yes, he did.
Ryan Braun with 26. That ball is foul into the corner. Already a Rookie of the Year and a 2-time All-Star. Ryan Braun, #1 in votes of the National League outfielders last year. Braunschweiger, I get it. They love their Braunschweiger up in Milwaukee. Braunschweiger. Somebody on our crew woke up in the middle of the night and wrote that down and then went right back to sleep. 1-2. Now you can have some swagger when you hit like that guy. That's his 4th hit and 8 at-bats in the series. He's aboard, and the Brewers have their leadoff man on today for the first time.
He's just a hitter. This is like Vlad Guerrero. This is a fastball up and in.
Yeah, that was almost Vlad-like location there.
Yeah, most guys won't step up and get on top of that ball, but Braun did.
Yeah, what a future. He's only 25.
97 home runs already.
National Freshman of the Year at Miami. Out of Grenada Hills, California High School. Here's Prince, and it's upstairs.
Well, I read some stuff that Ned Yost talked about him. Said, you know, I thought he was really cocky when I first met him, and I just realized he's just confident.
Yeah.
And that's the way he is. I mean, he got on his team this year, got on the pitchers, said the Cubs were out pitching him. He's not happy.
Fielder drives it left center, but it's hanging up for Willingham. Prince didn't get all of that one, to say the least, and he's 0 for 2.
And that was up end of the bat.
And a big out for Stammen. Cameron is next. Double plays in order here with 1 out in the 4th. A lot of offense in the East today. Atlanta top of the 4th. Hosting the Marlins, and it's 3-2 Braves there. They are tied 6.5 back of the Phillies, who won their 70th game of the year last night and are leading 8-4 still early at New York. Pedro, by the way, has gone 3 innings and given up 4 runs. Still in the game. Oliver Perez is not still in the game. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
12 million. 12 million for that young man.
Runner going, good jump. I don't think Josh Bart had a chance. And Rob had mentioned this the other night. He leads the Brewers in steals. They're the worst running team in the league. That's his 12. They've only stolen 44 bases this year.
That was number 12 for Brawny.
Mike Cameron not running much at this stage of his career. Felipe Lopez is not running. So one of their top 2 power guys leads them in steals. The Brewers are a station-to-station team. 3-0. Mike Cameron's an interesting guy. He's out of LaGrange, Georgia, still lives down there. And he was a co-author of a motivational book for kids called It Takes a Team. He's been very active over the years with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. In his 13 years in the big leagues, he's given a lot of his time and money to help others. And he's the kind of guy who is a role model. A 4-pitch walk. First and second. 1 out. Stammen's first walk of the day. Catalinato coming up. And it's time, with all this excitement we've had around here this week, to start thinking about your season tickets for next year. Place your deposit now. 202-675-NATS or nationals.com/2010. You get guaranteed seating, saving over buying games on a single game, buying tickets on a single game process, discounts on merchandise, exclusive events, and a whole lot more. Become a citizen of Nats Town. I think it's kind of cool to be able to tell people you're a season ticket holder, and we appreciate you. In the air, left side, Zimmerman. Coming back, but still just foul. And a quick out on Frank Catalinato.
See him shading his eyes right there. Got the glasses too.
Now I saw the third base umpires signal foul. They just announced in the press box fair ball. All I care about is 2 outs.
Squeeze it.
Mike Rivera, the hitter. Rivera signed at the age of 20 with the Tigers 12 years ago out of Puerto Rico. And he appeared in the Kevin Costner movie for Love of the Game. The 0-1 to Mike, who bounced out to short first time. Stammen stays away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Their young pitcher has only given up 3 hits and 1 walk today, 1 run. And with the Nats having just retaken a 5-run lead, a great inning to get a 0 on the board. Stammen will step off and look at Braun. The count's 1-1 to Mike Rivera, who's driven in 11 runs this year.
Do you hear something ringing?
Somebody has like a high-pitched whistle. I didn't think the dogs were coming here until the next homestand. 1-1. And a good breaking ball. Serious dive on that. Now that's the breaking ball you throw that's not a called strike.
Well, against the hitters, you see Bart get this ball down. This guy's got 76 plate appearances this year. As Bob said, he doesn't play a whole lot. Got to stop giving these hitters so much respect.
He was so far out ahead. And a 1-2 delivery, target away. Stammen got too much of the plate with a fastball. Mr. Zimmerman takes care of the rest. That ball appeared to be by him, and he just stabbed it right out of midair. He is amazing. Saving the Nats in this inning. Wow, what a big hop that was. What a And the Beanie Weenies are here again from Milwaukee. Teddy stepping right around that guy. Then he decided to do the limbo for some reason. Everybody else went around. Pretty good finish. Nobody finishes like Abe, though. Man.
Oh, Teddy broke an eyeglass.
The spectacles. No, the spectacle came off. Everybody having fun at the ballpark today. It's a little bit cooler. The humidity has given us a bit of a break on this 86-degree Sunday afternoon. Nyjer Morgan's had a good day. A base hit, a run, a suicide squeeze bunt for an RBI. He's been the consummate leadoff man so far. Prince Fielder grabs that one. It was labeled for the right field corner. Christian Guzman is next. 1 for 2 with a home run.
Well, tough to get it by the big man at first. Prince Fielder gobbles this one up. And he just has to step on the bag.
So Guzman, 2 hits in 6 at-bats in this series.
He had that pinch hit last night. Hopefully that got him going today with the home run.
So Guzman in 10 major league seasons. And there's another line drive. He's hit 60 career home runs. And when he gets going, he's a line drive machine. And hey, Rob, maybe all he needed to do was switch to the other side of the plate today.
Well, and most switch hitters were born right-handed hitters. Because of their speed, they turn them over and make them switch hitters so they can get to first base quicker.
But I mentioned back in the first inning, from my observations of him over the last 3 years, and he didn't play 1 year here, he has more power from that natural right side. We saw that.
Yeah, Lance Berkman does. Chipper Jones, when he's going well, does.
Zimmerman 1 for 2 with an RBI hit. Ryan's hitting an even 300. His next run scored will be number 90 on the year. And I don't know what's going on with the pitcher, but Chris Bosio comes out after ball 1. Dynamic duos. RBIs by teammates. The Milwaukee duo right up there. Dunn and Zimmerman 4th behind St. Louis, Philadelphia, ahead of Tampa Bay and Minnesota. Boy, those are some great combos, aren't they?
Yeah, and Mauer was injured for the first month of the season. He's been on a tear. Hitting about 370 right now. Or is it 380?
Wonder what happens if Pujols and Holiday play for an entire season together next year.
That would be nice to watch.
That's going to be one of the interesting free agent signings over the winter, to see if he stays there or gets lured to the New York area by the Moolah.
I don't want to see him go to the Yankees.
Well, you know,
enough all-stars on that team.
I know Matt Holiday. He's kind of a country guy from Oklahoma, lives in Denver. I'm not sure the East Coast is that attractive to him. There's a lot to be said for being in the same lineup with that other guy. Low it into Zimmerman, 2-1.
He's a good family guy, comes from baseball blood. Tom Holiday, longtime college coach, actually recruited me to go to Oklahoma State. And he's a baseball lifer.
Zimmerman, right field side, well out of play. Bottom of the 4th inning, Nats have out hit the Brewers 7-3 and lead 6-1. Way outside. Power guy on deck who homered his last time up. Adam Dunn's hit 2 homers in this series and 33 on the year. By the time the Nats get home for the next road trip, Adam Dunn will be flirting with 100 RBIs. Zimmerman hammers one to right center. That baby is gone. Right over the scoreboard at about the 390 mark. He adds to his career high, number 26, and it's 8-1.
What pitching coach Chris Bosio told Manny Parra, but obviously the fastball away, the bat head. You see the Exmo show you the bat head out in front of the plate, meeting the ball, taking it to right center field, and crushing the ball.
Parra is done for the day. After 3 1/3, he will give up 8 runs, 5 of them earned because of that error back in the first inning. And the Nats are slugging today. Jody Garrett's going to go out and play right field, replacing Frank Catalanato on the double switch. Ryan Zimmerman, 3 RBIs today, 85 on the year, and the Nats are up big. you see Ryan Zimmerman, Exmo on defense. How about this swing?
Well, just check the swing out right here. You see the hips come through right there. The head is just still down on it. Full extension of the arms. And look at right here where the bat is out in front and meets contact, and then the ball is going to go out to right center. I was growing up, Bob, and I saw a picture of Steve Garvey. Almost an identical swing, and it's the head looking down at the bat, meeting contact, ball and bat, full extension of the arms, and you can learn a lot as a pitcher from that. That's what you're trying to not let happen. You don't want a guy to get full extension. You do not want him to get his arms out like that and his body behind it, because the net result, home run. And, you know, as a pitcher, you got to either tie the guy up so he can't get extension, or put it so far down and away from him he can't make contact, or good contact.
Adam Dunn goes up hacking. Look out, Marquise Grissom.
And you brought it up before. A lot of that has to do with making the hitter uncomfortable.
Right.
And that means making him move. I call it dancing. Make the guy dance in the batter's box. You can't let him stand there comfortable. Mike Piazza was a perfect example. Looked like he was almost asleep in the batter's box. Nobody tried to get him uncomfortable. Now, every now and then he'd get drilled, but that was more out of respect because they couldn't get him out. They'd hit him. I'm talking about make the guy, you got to make him off balance, rock him back, get him on his heels, then go away with your good stuff.
1-1 to Dunn.
See, now you saw Adam expand his zone, overswing there. Really had nothing on that hit.
Because the previous pitch was up and in. So Parra, 8 runs, 5 earned, 8 hits, 1 walk. Didn't strike out anybody, and the Nats get him out. And Dunn offers. No swing. 2-2. Florida's taken a 5-4 lead now at Atlanta.
Let's see the side swing. Well, the plate's somewhere in here, so obviously he didn't break that plane. A little force field. Let the nibbling begin.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas.
Sometimes watching Adam Dunn and the pitchers who pitch him, it's like watching a guy fishing on a Sunday afternoon. And there goes another line drive. This one will stay in the ballpark, and it's going to be a single. A 340-foot single by Adam Dunn. Any elevation at all, that baby's gone. And the Nats continue to hit the ball beautifully. 9 hits now.
Well, he's just off balance enough to where this ball is out and he can't get underneath it to drive it out of the ballpark. But we've talked about how big and strong he is. That upper body pulls it right down the line off the wall. Come on, Hammer, get behind one right here.
Josh Willingham needs a hit. He's 2 for his last 18.
Came out last night after the game. The Hammer was quite upset. There was a lot of like white junk all over his truck. So hopefully he's still thinking about that and he mashes the ball.
That's a breaking ball. He hits it to left, and it is caught on the run by Ryan Braun. All the way back to first, Adam Dunn. He was at the second base bag. Well played, 2 outs. That ball was hooking away from Braun.
Well, this is a converted infielder thrown into the outfield because he made too many errors at third base his rookie year. Gets a great jump on the ball, makes a spectacular play. Little tit for tat. Remember earlier in the ball game, Willingham robbed Lopez of a sure double. That's just athleticism.
And here's hard swinging Ronnie Belliard. When Ronnie walked last time up, it was only the 13th base on balls to him all year.
That's still more than Guzman, isn't it?
It's the same. But Guzman plays 3 times as much.
I was going to say he's got 3 times as many at bats.
Ronnie's Adam Dunn compared to Christian Guzman.
Yep, Guzzi, he's not walking. He's not up there to walk.
Well, he attacks that pitch, and Counsell has to jump up off the dirt to stay in front of him. The Nats hit the ball hard all fourth inning. Ryan Zimmerman's 26th home run, and by the way, it is Stammen back to the mound, getting the run support that he needs. And as we come back and visit with you, Bob and Rob, on what's kind of turning into a fun afternoon. Nats haven't had many games like this lately.
No, they haven't. They haven't had a lot of laughers. It's not over yet, but 17 runs, and there you see a pop out to Josh Bard. 17 runs basically in the last 14 innings, Bob. You gotta make do with what you get, and you got to start going out there and competing. It's not just execution and throwing your pitches and stuff like that. It's being an athlete. It's competing against your foe, and I think that's what some of these younger pitchers need to learn. And Stammen's setting a good example tonight. Today he doesn't have his best stuff, but he's battling. He's battled through 4 innings already, and maybe battle 7 or 8 innings today. That's your job. Give the team an opportunity to win.
Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, in the number 9 hole. Boy, nothing like a quick out.
Nothing like a quick out. Keep bunting. Gotta like it when you're up 7 runs and they're bunting.
2-1 to Escobar, who grounded out the first time up. And then the top of the order in a moment for Felipe Lopez, who's had a good series. That ball jacked down the line. It's got a chance to leave. It's gone. Alcides Escobar's first major league home run. It's now 8-2.
Too fat of a pitch right there by Craig Stammen. Got to stick to your game plan no matter what the score is.
Lopez 1 for 2 with an RBI hit. In this series, Felipe Lopez is 7 for 13. Hits that one hard enough for hit number 8, but it's right at Nyjer Morgan. And the Nationals are not doing anything to make him uncomfortable. Bases empty, 2 outs. Craig Counsell coming up. Come on, you guys aren't going to pitch today. Sit down. Look at Ron Vallone back there in the cage stretch. What's that, like a shark cage or something?
I don't know. He's like an MMA fighter. He's ready to go. Well, if I can't get you out with my curveball, I'll beat it out of you. Oh, Ronnie's great. Come on, he's 39. He's got to stretch a little more than the youngsters.
Oh, man, I'm hurting just watching.
Look at him. He's doing like some pull-ups.
Come on, Ron, you're killing us. Batter's Craig Counsell. It looks like Gold's Gym out there. It's up and away to Counsell. 0 for 2 today. 0 for 7 in the series. Ryan Braun just made a good defensive play. He has a base hit and a steal today in 2 trips. And the Nats would love to see him leading off the top of the 6th. Series finale tomorrow. Colin Ballister and Giovanni Gallardo, who's 11 and 10 with a 3.5 ERA. Slapped by the mound, but Belliard circles behind it, scoops and fires. Well played by Ronnie Belliard against a very speedy runner. You can give up solos when you're up big. And the Nats are up big halfway through the game. It's 8.
Out here having fun. It's a Sunday. It's beautiful out here, and there's gonna be fans, and I'm excited. My parents are in town, so just try to put on a show for them.
And so far he is putting on a show. He's been a key part of this game, a double. He also scored on the suicide squeeze, and I'm joined by Mike's parents, as he calls them, his mom Arlene and Stan Christen, who has been his father figure throughout his life. And I have to ask you, being a baseball mom and a single mom at the time, how was it raising Mike and his brother TK?
Well, it was very challenging, but I encourage all single mothers to just keep going, never give up, because you never know what the end result is. And I'm very proud of him.
And I know you've told Mike not to give up too. And Stan, you helped him you coached him along the way and helped him with football and baseball. And you were the football coach at Duke University, and you also played in the CFL. What advice did you give him as he tried to make it through the professional ranks?
Well, basically was to always work hard, keep a good attitude, and if you have a bad day, forget about it, learn from it, and move on.
Okay.
And that's basically what he's done.
Oh, and he's done a great job at it, thanks to both of your influences. Bob, back up to you.
Thank you.
That was nice. Mike Morse 1 for 2 today. He's been on base a couple of times. He hit the ball hard his second time. And he will bat after Josh Bard here in the bottom of the 5th. Bard has flied to left, flied to center. 2-0 pitch gets by him. 80 on the changeup. Bard, Morse, and Stammen, bottom of the 5th inning. That's well struck to left center. It does. Interesting, Bard gets a start today, batting right-handed, goes 0 for 2, and then he switches over to the other side, hits the ball really well to left center. Don't know if he hurt himself on the way down the first base, but Lee Kuntz, the trainer, heading for the bag.
Well, you see that coming out of the box. But he barely made it over to first base, limping.
You know, he doesn't want to come out of the game.
No, he doesn't.
I really loved what Josh had to say this morning. He said, you know, the Lerner family is paying me good money. They're taking care of my family. If I can get out of bed, I should be able to play. He's a tough guy. There's Will Nieves, who thought he might be going in.
What? Huh? Something happened to Josh? I'm ready. Oh, what a lovely day.
Leadoff man aboard. In 5 innings, the Nats have had their first batter either on base or rounding the bases 4 times. So they put constant pressure on the Milwaukee pitching staff today. There's Mike Morse, 1 for 2. Mom's got the video ready.
Oh, Mike will be thrilled at Thanksgiving when we whip out this videotape.
He has 3 major league home runs.
I wish we could break down the guys a little more, do more baby pictures.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I kind of dig that. You got to do some on the coaches too. Let me see what Pat Listach looked like as a baby.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he was challenging bigger guys to fights. It's going to be a while before we forget the video of him charging Dibble.
But it was so much fun. Because I'll never forget Frank Howard. Someone stepped on my foot. The biggest guy on the field.
Breeze is moving that ball around a little bit. Cameron stays with it and makes the catch for the first down. Craig Stammen will be next.
It's just funny how you remember things, moments from the memories. Like my manager not giving me $1,000 for the fine, paid me $9.90. I don't want people to think I'm paying your fine. So he gypped me out of $10.
$10? Wow, that's good.
You gotta be kidding me.
Good gesture.
I know.
Who was that?
Terry Bevington. And honestly, my agent had started a long time before that.
You have
a fine fund.
A fine fund?
A fine fund.
Do they have those for every player?
No.
Every client?
Just annoying ones like me. Yeah, maybe we should have you do a couple of personal appearances, and we'll just put that money aside.
Yeah.
For someday.
We'll call it a fine fund.
Well, I actually, in the National League was so cool with me. I was allowed to give the money to charity. So it wasn't just, okay, you know, pay the National League. They allowed me to give the money away to charity, so they were cool.
What about the American League? They take
the American League,
well, they take the money and give it to the DHs?
I can't remember who they gave that to.
Craig Stammen 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt today. Long ball game, especially for the Brewers. The Nats have pounded out 8 runs on 10 hits already. That's a fastball well inside, counts even 2-2. From 25-year-old Carlos Villanueva, originally signed with the Giants and came over to the Brewers with a pitcher Glenn Woolard in a Wayne Franklin Leo Estrella deal back in 04. Been in the Milwaukee organization for a while. Stammen fanning on a breaking ball outside. That's the first Nat to strike out today. We've had a suicide squeeze today. Rob executed perfectly.
Well, he doesn't give it away, and right there at the last second, Parr coming through. Too late to change his delivery. When you see the runner coming, you got to make contact. Where's Alberto Gonzalez? Are you watching that, young man?
Yeah.
You can't bail. You must
Wail.
Well, at least make contact.
I think so. Niger 1 for 2 with an RBI. He's driven in 39 runs this year. Pitcher steps off and looks at the runner for some reason, and nobody's covering first. Fielder is playing behind the less than speedy Josh Bard. If Niger gaps one here, he might be pushing Josh across second or third base. Breaking ball swung on and tipped, and the count's 0-2.
Good breaking ball right there. Head going the wrong way. Got to keep the head down.
Couple of NL Central wild card hopefuls getting pounded today. Brewers here, and at Houston, Astros trailing bottom of the third to Arizona 6-0. Houston only a half game ahead of Milwaukee in the Central and the wild card race. Those two teams both have to make a move here pretty quickly before Labor Day arrives. That's a foul ball. Let's have a look at that wild card race where Colorado still has the lead. They're playing the Giants this weekend. They've split their series so far. Braves and the Marlins right in it.
Cubs don't want to go away. They're still around.
But that team with that talent, one game over 500, 4.5 months into the season.
Yeah, you think we're frustrated here. Think about how many hundreds of millions they've spent for that 1 over 500 record.
Well, I'll give you a little perspective on that. A lot of people around here who aren't baseball fans think way too much money was spent on this stadium. The Cubs on free agents have spent half as much money the last 3 years as it cost to build Nationals Park.
It's all relative.
300-some million they've spent.
That wasn't even the parking lot for the new Yankee Stadium. They spent $1.5 billion, and they're still spending money.
Yeah. And Morgan will lift one out to left center. Ball's got some carry on it. And right in front of the wall, Mike Cameron grabs it. Niger showing some serious power right there. The Nats strand their 5th runner of the day. PNC leading the way. It's a hot day in D.C. Whatever we can do to keep cool. Maybe it's a bonnet. And maybe it's a little time up in Georgetown, too. Top of the 6th inning coming. Here's our game summary. Nyjer Morgan is a first inning terror for pitchers this year. Christian Guzman has hit his 6th homer of the year. He's 2 for 3 and he scored 3 runs. And Ryan Zimmerman's having a big day. 3 RBIs. He now has 85 and a home run, his 26th. Lots of offense. Craig Stammen, not spectacular on the mound, but very solid today. And it's a family day at the ballpark.
Speaking of family, Mrs. Lerner, Judy Lerner, stopped by with some oatmeal and chocolate chip cookies for us. Wow. Everybody in the booth. I mean, it's not like they didn't have a busy week. And she still had time to bake.
That's right.
That's why I love this place.
It's a family.
It's all about family and fattening up the broadcasters.
Well,
I resemble that remark. Sorry, boys and girls, they don't know where the truck is. Let's keep it that way.
Well, you know, they go to Five Guys anyway for lunch, so they never send that over here. That ball is over the screen and out of play on the first swing of the 6th inning by Ryan Braun. 4 for 8 in the series, couple of RBIs. Busy box score for the Brewers. I mean, their offense not exactly stagnant. 2 runs on 4 hits in 5 innings, but the Nats have just raked their pitchers today.
But in comparison to the last couple of games.
Yeah. Well, this is the 2nd worst ERA team in the league. Milwaukee at 4.90. The Nats are back over 5 at 5.04. Two and 1 to Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, and Mike Cameron. And then the pitcher, if it gets that far, here in the 6th inning. Braun hits it hard again. Guzman gets rid of it. And he's out at first base. And Ryan Braun is ejected after slamming his helmet to the ground. And that's a rookie umpire, Mike Muchlinski, who just threw him out.
It's poor sportsmanship. You get tossed for that.
Impressive play by Guzman, and Braun ejected.
Well, the Goose still has some range, still has a great arm. Check this out. He gets rid of it. Knows he's got speed coming. Adam Dunn, perfect play. That was a great call, actually. He got him by a good step. Guzman right there, turns, all arm, very accurate. And Dunn on the receiving end. Nice stretch, nice pick. And Brawny getting the hot shower here before everybody else.
That might be one of the last young men I expected something like that from. A quick outburst, a toss of the helmet, and the heave-ho. I'm not sure if that's Mike Muchlinski's first career ejection, but he's the rookie umpire on this crew, and he was quick on the trigger. Prince Fielder, quick with a fly ball to right, but it's carrying right to the glove of Mike Morse. Really battling the sun. 2 outs. Mike Muchlinski. I'm going to look in the umpire's media guide. I'm not sure he's in here because they don't always list the rookie umpires.
I'm taking my bat and I'm going home. I don't like that Muchlinski guy. No, that's the right call. You can't fire your helmet down like that.
Yeah. Somebody asked me at our little fan forum yesterday who my favorite umpire of all time was. And I had an answer for that. I don't want to get into the story with 2 outs, but I'll tell it next half inning because I think it's a funny story. But it's Jocko Conlon, who is from Chicago and who is a great character, and he's in the Hall of Fame. For some reason, somebody gave me his book after he retired, and I read it. 1-1 to Mike Cameron. It's a good story, though, and it's appropriate on a hot Sunday afternoon. 2 balls and a strike to Cameron. And ball 3.
Well, I liked most of the umpires that I played in the major leagues and had around me at all times. Doug Harvey, one of my favorites, but I would have to say Leslie Nielsen and Naked Gun was maybe my favorite.
That's
or
an
actor playing an umpire.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. Stammen, the ball hits him. It stays close. We hope he's okay. And he throws out Cameron, ending the top of the 6th inning. Another 0 on the board for Craig Stammen today. Nats fans are all smiles. TT Rapid Rewind. How about some long distance? Like Kristen Guzman's 6th homer in the 2nd. Adam Dunn leading off the 3rd with his 33rd. And then in the 4th, Ryan Zimmerman, right center field. Beautiful swing. And his 26th. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Guzman, Zimmerman, and Dunn. Jason Bourgeois takes over in right field after the ejection of Ryan Braun. Villanueva still in the game, and the Nationals box score will go rolling by. It was a hot Sunday afternoon at the old Polo Grounds, and the New York Giants were pretty bad. They were playing a doubleheader, and Jocko Conlon was on the umpiring crew, and I think he had the plate for game 2. And about the 2nd inning, Frankie Frisch comes out of the dugout waving his arms and screaming at the umpire. And Jocko says, "What's up with you?" And he goes, "I want you to throw me out of this game." He says, "Why?" He says, "I'm sick of watching these 240 hitters. I've got a case of beer up in New Rochelle all iced up waiting for me. I want to go home."
I've had enough.
And Jocko Conlon, without even blinking, said to him, "If I got to watch this, fill in the blank, so do you. Get back in the dugout."
Wow.
Wouldn't throw him. That was my favorite umpiring story. So Jocko Conlon, the Hall of Famer, at the top of the list. But I think Leslie Nielsen's a great answer. I should have known you would have stepped over into cinema.
That's my life.
Yeah.
Another great one in the late. Eric Gregg was also one of my favorite umpires. Always happy, always fun. Tom Browning making fun of his weight one day at hot day at Shea, put a cheeseburger when he wasn't pitching on third base. And I truly believe Tom wanted to go hang out in the clubhouse and where it was cooler. And Eric Gregg, when he got to third base that day, he tossed Tommy out from the dugout. You're out of here. He just tossed him out.
So he just knew who did it?
Oh, of course he knew who did it.
Guzman lines out to Cameron. And Christian Guzman, folks, I believe is back. He is hitting line drives again. Ryan Zimmerman 2 for 3, 2 hits, a homer, 3 RBIs. He's also scored his 89th and 90th runs of the year. And only Albert Pujols with 96 has scored more. So Ryan is building, knock on wood for health, a career year here. He has a career high in home runs already with 26. Adam Dunn's presence has made a dramatic difference in how other teams pitch to Ryan now. I mean, they've been nasty pitching this guy for 3 years, knowing that hitters behind him really weren't going to hurt them if they walked him.
And he was hurt last year, had the bad shoulder.
48 games.
Yeah, and that whenever you're not healthy, people don't even know you're not healthy, and you go out there and they just think, well, you're lousy this year. And that's why I give Josh Bard so much credit. We both know that groin might not heal the entire season. And
I don't see how it can.
That young man goes out there, and you know it's heavily wrapped, and you know it's cumbersome, and it's hard to play with it and then catch. And he doesn't care. I'm going to suck it up and play. I love playing, and I waited my whole career to be an everyday catcher. I'm not going to give it up now. We have some guys like that too, Nigel Morgan and Willie Harris. I mean, they could probably have a broken bone and keep playing.
Mets have picked up a run, but in the top of the 8th at New York, Phillies still lead 8-5. And they're in the bottom of the 6th at Atlanta. The Marlins are still leading the Braves 5-4. That's a battle for second place. They're tied 6.5 back of the Phillies and just 2 back in the wild card. And the Giants just got 2 in the first at Colorado. That's a good take by Ryan Zimmerman. And a breaking ball outside, 3-2.
So it's 2-0 Giants, top of the first?
Yep. Well, they're top of the second now.
Well, that's Lincecum up there in Colorado.
Yep. Well, they got 2 runs off Ubaldo Jimenez.
True. Yeah, that's a very good matchup with some very good young pitchers.
Ryan pops it up back behind the plate and caught by Mike Rivera. 2 outs.
Kids run the show. It's time to let the kids run the show. If you're ages 5 to 12, enter the Nationals Kids Run the Show for your chance to help run the ball club when the Nats take on the Marlins on Sunday, September 6th at 1:35 p.m. Check the Washington Post for details on how to enter. Contest ends Monday, August 24th.
Which is tomorrow.
Okay, but the kids have to be able to speak. Can't be 2 or 1.
Oh, we've had some fun kids up here over the years. I remember at RFK when we actually let them on the air one year. It was tough to get them off. Got a little chatty.
I wonder if they need a diaper change.
They're older than that.
We just showed a kid that was about 2 years old.
They're not doing it.
All right, if he's wearing pull-ups or she's wearing pull-ups, they can manage the team.
Adam Dunn 2 for 3 today with his 33rd home run of the year, RBI number 89. I tell you, Ryan Zimmerman is only 4 RBIs behind Dunn. This will be Villanueva's last inning, pitcher spot due to lead off for the Brewers in the 7th. They were warming up David Weathers a short time ago. And a 4-pitch walk to Adam Dunn. That's the 94th time he's been walked this year. First walk issued by Villanueva, who's been in the ballgame since Zimmerman's 2-run homer in the 4th. Josh Willingham hit into hard luck last time when Ryan Braun made an outstanding play to take an extra base hit away.
You've seen Adams' last couple of at-bats. If you're Villanueva, are you pitching to him?
No.
I'm surprised he wasted 4 pitches last night. They just hit him once, got him in the jersey. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, that's right. Last time he was up there, he singled, but it was off the right field fence and got out there in about 3 seconds.
Exactly. That was a long single.
Adam Dunn 2 for 3 today. He's batting up around 290 now.
He is.
He's having one of his great batting average seasons of his career. You know, there are some guys who just feel comfortable in certain ballparks. And Adam Dunn, he might be around here a while. He likes this park to hit. He'll do some big time damage. I mean, who've the Nats had on their roster since '05 doing as much damage as this guy? Nobody. Oh, and Willingham takes one up near the shoulder. That'll bring up Ronnie Belliard.
Well, the hammer didn't deserve that one, but takes it off the shoulder.
Bottom of the 6th inning, 2 on, 2 out. Nationals on top 8-2. Ronnie Belliard has 2 RBIs today. The biggest 2 of the game, really. Turning a 1-run bottom of the 1st into a 3-run frame. Then he walked in the 3rd, grounded out in the 4th.
Well, come on, Ronnie, make this guy pay for hitting the hammer.
Tell you what, the outfield, they play Ronnie Belliard like a power hitter. Nobody cheats in on him anymore. I mean, every one of those guys is deeper than the kind of bare spot we see in the grass now in the month of August, after the grass starts getting pounded by the sun and the conditions here on a daily basis. All 3 of them are beyond those spots where they play a regulation hitter. There's Mike Cameron right behind that bare spot. Crown's crew will take care of that during the road trip and have it all greened up when the guys get back. But these fields take a beating this time of the year. You go from rain to extreme humidity and sunny conditions. They got to keep the dirt infield hosed down at times to keep that from turning into a rock. And it's 3-0 on Belliard. Villanueva having a hard time finding the plate. He gets a generous strike call for
Ronnie, and that's not Ronnie's pitch out there. Sorry, give him that strike. You want Ronnie swinging. Northrop Grumman right here. This is on the outside black. Give him that strike. Now come back in a little closer.
And Belliard out to center. That'll carry to Mike Cameron. 2 stranded. The Nats have left 7. We are on to the 7th. 8-2 Washington. A 5-game losing streak on this homestand and get a game from these hard-hitting Milwaukee Brewers. Let's pay off our trivia. Prior to Prince, the last Brewer to lead the league in home runs. Rob was guessing Gorman Thomas. We mentioned Rob Deere, and it was Gorman Thomas the year they went to the World Series. You're
Brilliant.
hot. You hit Whitey Ford last night.
I just go with the names I know. Whitey, Gorman. Gorman's got a nice restaurant back there in Milwaukee.
Does he?
Yep. Well, he had one at the old stadium. I don't know if he's got one at the new. I would assume he's got a restaurant in the stadium there.
Hernan Iribarren, the pinch hitter. This is for the pitcher, Villanueva, who settled this game down for the Brewers. He pitched 2 2/3 scoreless baseball. Nationals got to DeFelice for a hit, a walk, and 2 runs in a third of an inning last night, and Mark is warming up again. And meanwhile, not to be lost in all of this, Rob Dibble, Craig Stammen in his 7th inning of work. This is the first time he's pitched more than 6 innings since July 22nd in a 3-1 win against the Mets.
Still plugging away. 93 pitches, but that shouldn't matter. Most of our starting rotation should be well rested.
Yep, it hasn't been a prolific week for innings by starters. On a pitch up, right center. Morgan can't get there. That ball hops over for a ground rule double. Extremely well hit by Hernan Iribarren. That's only Milwaukee's 5th hit today.
Well, you see when some of our pitchers put the ball up in the zone, the damage the hitters do to the pitches. Sean Burnett.
Mike Rivera 0 for 2 with a pair of ground balls. And a hit taken away by Zimmerman last time.
Say what Steve McCatty's going to walk out there and say is your last 2 pitches have been up in the zone. Are you okay? You tired? Got to work the ball down.
Was it John Hart of the Texas Rangers you were chatting with the other day?
No.
You were talking to somebody from the Rangers.
John Daniels.
John Daniels, I'm sorry. Did he give you a reading on whether the Rangers can see a difference now from early in the season when Nolan Ryan started talking about throwing away the pitch counters and the radar guns and all that stuff? I mean, are they seeing results at all?
They just completed a study throughout their minor leagues. They've actually thrown less pitches this year than the last few years. So even though he wants them to go deeper, they are going deeper, but they're throwing less pitches, so they're being more economical inning to inning.
Wow.
So they actually like what they see, but it really hasn't, as far as what you're seeing at the minor league level. This is the major league level. They've just done such a turnaround. They were last in pitching last year. Now they're in the top 5 this year in pitching.
Yeah, Texas has a team ERA of 4.17. Only Seattle, Chicago, and Detroit better. They're ahead of Tampa Bay, Boston, and the Yankees.
Yes, they are.
And Minnesota and the Angels.
God, the Angels have a lot of injuries. They're almost last in the American League now.
I would think the baseball world's really going to keep an eye on what they're doing in Texas. Adam Dunn sees it. He never got out of sorts there. Very relaxed under that ball. Belliard was there to help if he needed it, and he took the foul ball for the first out.
And they're going with a lot of young pitchers. You know, they have just over 90 starts between 4 starters in that rotation, very much like our own. The only other guy, and they just got rid of Vicente Padilla, who's over with the Dodgers now. Kevin Millwood's got almost 370 career starts just himself. So you've got 4 guys with less than 100 starts combined, and this is going to be it for Stammen as Jim Riggleman will do a double switch and bring Sean Burnett in the game. It's working. Mike Maddox was brought in as the new pitching coach, so whatever they're doing or whatever they've put on them as far as accountability, it's working in Texas.
A solid outing by Craig Stammen pitching into the 7th inning. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, only 5 hits. Afternoon in our nation's capital. It's 1 out, top of the 7th, and the Nationals pull off a double switch. Willie Harris will bat 9th and play left field, so Willie will be batting 3rd in the upcoming inning. And then Sean Burnett takes over to face Jody Garrett here, lefty-lefty matchup. And as an at his 24th appearance, 20 innings, 13 hits, 16 strikeouts, 8 walks. Well, and those numbers you saw, his overall season numbers. As before that, Sean was quite busy pitching in 38 games for the Pirates. Garrett came in on a double switch back in the 5th inning.
Promptly bunted it up in the air to the catcher.
On 1 pitch. Stammen out of the ballgame after getting 19 outs, 97 pitches, 60 strikes. And a runner at second, 1 out in an 8-2 game. Sean totally holds on to that one too long. And that wild pitch will put Iribarren on 3rd base.
That's the man 2 doors now would say just a bit outside. Bob Uecker was telling me some great Frank Howard stories after the game last night.
And the Brewers are on the board. This game is far from over. 8-3 now on a base hit by Jody Garrett.
Okay, remember the story I told you about Mr. Howard, how he used to take 1 set of clothes on the road with him and just wash them over and over and over? Yeah. Bob Uecker was telling me Jody Garrett's going to get all of this breaking ball right here and single in a run. That he was an instructor with the Brewers, and he used to stay at the Marriott there in Milwaukee. And at least 4 or 5 different times, because it didn't look like anybody was actually living in the room, they would sell the room. And then Frank Howard, no clothes. So Frank Howard would come back and go, "Why is there somebody in my room?" And they're like, "Well, because there's nobody in there." He's like, "No, I'm in there. I'm living in there." So it is true that he just, very neat and tidy man.
Long run, and Mike Morse puts that away off the bat of Escobar for the second out. Top of the order now, and Felipe Lopez will be batting right-handed.
They didn't think anybody was in there. Can you imagine a guy that's almost 7 feet tall and nobody noticed he was there?
Yeah, well, I'm sure the maid came in to clean up. No clothes.
No clothes.
Probably
no mess.
took his stuff to the ballpark with him. And
what about a toothbrush?
She phoned down. Nobody's in the room.
A bar of soap. Anything. A used towel. That's pretty neat. I think that's how Bob's rooms are on the road.
Evidently, he had only one pair of shoes, too.
Is that your room, Debbie? Your room's a mess, huh? Okay, mine too. The cleaning ladies come in my room. They think someone was murdered in there. It was just me sleeping in the bed.
2-1. Now Felipe hitting the ball. Well, he's hit the ball hard all 3 times today. An RBI hit, flied out deep to left, lined out hard to center. 7 for 14 in the series with 5 RBIs. That ball flared right field line. And it's a good thing it went foul because Felipe Lopez chose not to run. He stood in the bat, and this is the kind of thing that always rears its ugly head with Felipe. There are times when he doesn't do what he's supposed to do on the diamond.
I think this is a questionable call.
That ball,
at best.
That ball was maybe a foot or 2 foul, and he never ran.
He should have been on second. What is he thinking? This ball is just foul. He stands there. He walks up the line. He's walking. Morse makes a great play on it. Can't catch it, but man, if that's foul, it's a couple of inches.
2-2.
Is he going that good to not run out balls?
Well, you know, we had that play in Milwaukee where remember he paused at third and then got thrown out at home, and those things happen. The kid is so talented. He's a great athlete.
Well, and that's the difference between this guy and Nyjer Morgan. I love watching Nyjer. No comparison. He'll hustle on everything. He is hustling all the time. Is that Tony Plush in center today? I know that's Hot Rod Harris out there in left. Brought his rag top to the field today. He's got his Oldsmobile Cutlass out there. I got to find out the date. I think it's like 67 or 68. It's all tripped out.
Yeah, I told Willie you were talking about his car on the air last night. He was pretty happy about that. He had that thing idling when I left the parking lot. I thought a freight train was going by.
Did he tell you about the other night when we were trying to open the hood and it took us like an hour and we still couldn't figure out, and then he comes the next day, he goes, it took us 2 hours to figure that out.
Another pitcher knocks down a hot shot. Stammen last inning on Cameron, and in this inning Sean Burnett on Felipe Lopez.
I think he got his hand though. He's
God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us as we honor our country. Here to perform God Bless America, once again, Sarah Gray.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home.
survey features 8 members of the Nats. These players were voted best tools by league managers in a survey. The list includes Syracuse Seth Bynum, who was named the best defensive second baseman. Shortstop Ian Desmond got best infield arm in both the Eastern League and the International League. And catcher Derek Norris was voted the best batting prospect and best power prospect in the South Atlantic League. And on the major league level, Ryan Zimmerman was given the best defensive third baseman honors, and Nyjer Morgan was tied with Juan Pierre as the best base runner in the National League. And again, this was voted by the managers, so pretty good stuff there.
Always good when it's voted by people who are actually on the field, recognizing these players for their tools, their skills, and their talents. And here's Mark DeFelice, who had a rough third of an inning against the Nats last night. Bard, Morse, and Harris in the bottom of the 7th. Tyler Clippard for the 8th. Boy, we hope Sean Burnett's okay.
Yes, we do. He took a good shot to the pitching hand to end that last inning.
But the atmosphere in the dugout, the bullpen, it's just so much different when a starter at least gets you into the 7th inning. And a high fly ball at short, Escobar. Josh Bard 1 for 4 today. Mike Morse is next. He's 1 for 3 with a double. And then we'll see Willie Harris for the first time. At least the first time since Willie homered in the 8th inning last night. Top of the 9th now at Citi Field. 9-6 Phillies over the Mets. And the Braves have come back late in the ball game, 8th inning, to tie the Marlins 5-5. Do you think a few people saw the matchup of Oliver Perez and Pedro Martinez and said, that'll be a high scoring game? They were right.
I know. I thought it was going to be a pitcher's duel.
You did not.
For about their warm-ups.
Yeah.
Well, Oliver Perez, it's just the Mets missed the boat. You let Derek Lowe go away. He went to the Braves in your own division, and then you signed that guy for $36 million. You're still hooked up with him for 2 more years.
That's unbelievable.
And he only had 10 wins last year. He had over 100 walks. There's Morris's mom, stepdad.
They want to see a knock here. It's 1-2 on the breaking ball away. Oh, he's going to punch you down on a pitch under his hands. Morse is gone. He's 1 for 4 today.
Well, Northrop Grumman will show that pitch kind of dips, but it does dip across the plate. Set up outside, the pitch does ride across the plate. And Chuck Merriweather says, I'll give you a strike on that one.
Willie Harris hit his 5th homer of the year last night. His 25th career home run, and most of those have come in the last 2 years. 18 of those last 25, 08-09. And I chatted with Willie briefly out by that vintage automobile of his last night, and he was talking about how really tough it is when you're not getting at bats to get any kind of feel, any kind of rhythm to go at the plate. That was a badly needed hit, and it happened to go out of the ballpark for Willie. But it's just such a difficult job, and he's used to playing more than he's playing right now. On an 0-2 pitch, he reaches out and flies it to center for Mike Cameron. And this ball game into the 8th inning. Counsell, not Braun anymore, and then Fielder coming up for the Brewers. beer. It's frost brewed. And the bang play, Guzman, and a play that got Ryan Braun thrown out.
Well, Guzman makes a great play. There you see the pick. There you see the freeze cam. The ball in the glove. The foot on the bag. Ryan Braun doesn't agree. Fires his helmet. Gets ejected. So the Coors Light freeze cam goes to, well, Ryan Braun, Cristian Guzman, and Adam Dunn. Ryan Braun gets to go in the clubhouse and have some Coors Light.
And he'll be ready for a day game tomorrow. Double switch by the Nats with Jorge Padilla in right field. Tyler Clippard takes over.
Isn't it like a 4:30 start tomorrow?
4:35 first pitch.
See, I listened to you last night. Like, what? 1:35, then a 4:35?
And getaway day for the Nats on their way to Chicago.
Chicago, my kind of town.
Brewers will be home, and Jeff Suppan comes off the DL Tuesday night to pitch against Cincinnati. They'll get Micah Owings back as well. Craig Counsell 0 for 3 today, a fly ball, 2 grounders, 0 for 8 in this series. And a 1-2 from Clippard.
Too high. So Josh Bard wanted it up that far up. David Weathers, been around for a long time, very dependable. With the Cincinnati Reds a little earlier this year.
And Counsell reaching for that one, flying it to left center. Willie Harris right there. And the countdown of those outs is down to 5. Today's copyrighted telecast, presented by authority of the Washington Nationals, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals, who lead 8-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Jason Bourgeois will be the hitter. He started in right field last night, had an RBI single in 3 trips before being replaced on a double switch. Actually a pinch running situation. Bourgeois from Houston, originally drafted by Texas, in more than 9 years in the minor leagues. They called him up August 12th, did the Brewers, when Bill Hall was designated. And it's 3-0.
And you talked about this young man last night. 9 years he spent in the minor leagues. I would say he's toiling, but loving it.
Over 200 stolen bases on those minor league diamonds. He's aboard with 1 out.
That's a lot of time on the bus.
Prince Fielder could make this game interesting.
You know, this is where you don't want to start putting some people on base.
Not in front of him. That was a really poorly timed walk by Tyler Clippard.
You kind of dodged a bullet by Braun being thrown out of the game. It would have been Ryan Braun hitting there. So
Fielder off to the left side, and the count's 0-2. And this ball popped up over on the left side for Ryan Zimmerman. That at bat could be the last gasp for the Brewers today. We'll see. 2 outs in the 8th inning now. With Mike Cameron coming up, Verizon Fios presents Nats Extra. Yeah, the Nats got Manny Parra big time. 8 runs, 8 hits in only 3 1/3 innings. Craig Stam had a good day. Colin Ballister, Giovanni Gallardo in the finale at 4:35 tomorrow. Johnny and Ray will be on the air at 4 tomorrow. Rob and I will drop in at 4:30. First pitch 5 minutes later. And an uncontested stolen base for Bourgeois.
That catcher's indifference?
I don't know. I'd give him a steal.
Yeah, it looked like Ronnie Belliard covered second.
Brewers need some steals. They have 2 today and 45 on the year. They started the day as the least running team in the National League. The Nationals have 59 stolen bases. They're in the top 10 now. They haven't swiped a single base in this series. Cameron 0 for 2 with a walk today. Mike in this series 6 for 12. That's a good pitch on the inner half. And Clippert has him 1-2.
See what the pitch track has to say. Right down Broadway through the center of the box.
And he threw it by him up and in. Good change of location by Clippert, and he ends the top of the 8th with his first strikeout. Brewers have stranded 5, and they trailed the Nationals. To you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. It's a beautiful day to be out on the water, huh? On the Anacostia or the Potomac, or to be here at the ballpark with the Nationals lead into the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-3 over the Milwaukee Brewers. 39-year-old David Weathers into the game. His first professional season was 21 years ago. And he made it to the big leagues in '91 with the Blue Jays. Stops in Toronto, Florida, Yankees, Milwaukee. He's been there before, 98 to 01. Cubs, Mets, Houston, back to Florida, Cincinnati, as Rob told you, and now back to the Brewers. And he's always been solid everywhere he's been. He has 75 career saves. And Nyjer Morgan leads off in the bottom of the 8th. Guzman and Zimmerman to follow. 8-3 Nats. First pitch strike.
945 games.
It's a lot of warm-ups. That ball slips by him. And well played by the shortstop. Escobar almost pulled Prince Fielder off the bag. Escobar's had a few shaky moments out in the field today. Got the job done there.
Escobar, you're going to see him using some of his great range. Comes over, ball not hit as hard. Now he's got to rush it with speed coming. Uses the bag. A little leverage. You see the Prince make a very nice play to save an error for the young shortstop.
Guzman 2 for 4 today. He's hit the ball sharply 3 times. Hit his 6th home run, driven in his 43rd.
So how many multi-hit games is that now?
That's right. We had another one, and that'll be 46. One ahead of Nyjer Morgan, and the 46 is 3rd best in the league. And Guzman will tap one out to center for Mike Cameron. Here comes Ryan Zimmerman, who's also 2 for 4 today. And in the 4th inning, Rob, this is a big man's home run the other way over that nearly 20-foot scoreboard.
Well, when hitters come back to the dugout and they start joking about full extension, that's what they're talking about. Getting that bat, the ball right on the barrel, arms extended, head down. He's got such great form. When he starts hitting the ball the other way, though, he's pretty tough because on the inside, he crushes.
Yeah.
Start hitting the ball away, and they really have nowhere to pitch him.
And they will do that to you when you're going well.
Well, and that'll keep you from diving over and getting that outside portion of the plate. His first movement towards the inside, has to stop and go the other way. 7 in on the elbow.
Phillies won that game at New York, a 9-7 final. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Atlanta. Marlins, Braves at 5, tied. So some serious offense in the National League East today, including 8 runs on 10 hits here by the Nationals.
Still 2-0 in that Colorado San Francisco game. That means Lincecum's dealing.
Yeah, and Jimenez has settled down. There's our menu for tomorrow, and that's extra 4 o'clock. Mass in HD with Rob and I at 4:30. First pitch from Ballister at 4:35. Inside again.
Well, after he did that on the 1-0 pitch, dropped a 2-0 breaking ball in there for strike 1. Now it's a full count. Exmo, you see him. Whoa, that's a close shave.
That's a good at bat. And it gets Adam Dunn up there. With 2 outs. David Weathers and Adam Dunn, former teammates.
See if David Weathers challenges Adam Dunn right here. I don't think David Weathers is afraid of too many people, including his former teammate. Fastball just a little low.
Had him on base 3 times today. His on base percentage over .420 now. And he came into this ball game number 3 in the league in that department. Only Albert Pujols and Chase Utley are getting on base now more than Adam Dunn. And a busted bat that flies by the mound. Lopez throws him out. The Nationals will strand 8 runners today. 3 outs to get. Gallardo, who the Nats have already faced this year. He pitched 7 great innings against Washington, gave up 3 runs, 11 strikeouts on July 30th, and Colin Ballister coming back from one of his worst starts ever. Didn't even make it through 2 last time out, but he did have a good game at Milwaukee. 6 innings, 2 runs, and 3 strikeouts on July 28th. Johnny and Ray at 4 o'clock tomorrow with the series finale. Alberto Gonzalez plays second base. That moves Ronnie Belliard over to first. Adam Dunn finished for the day. Casey McGee gets an at-bat here in the pitcher's spot for Milwaukee. And McGee has done some damage in this series. 3 hits, a homer, 2 RBIs. And Tyler Clippard trying to close this thing out. He has McGee 1 and 2. And a pop up to the right side of the infield. Alberto Gonzalez. Next up, the catcher, Mike Rivera. Nats Extra. We showed you the menu earlier. Johnny and Ray coming right up. Looks like the Nats are going to win their 44th game of the year, their 27th here at home, and their 14th in 36 games against the National League Central. Wow. Looked quicker than 91, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and they're missing it. That's why I don't believe in guns. The hitters will let you know how you're throwing, and he threw the ball right by Cameron. He doesn't miss many fastballs. First 2 pitches so far in this at bat, right by Rivera.
One ball and 2 strikes to the catcher.
Goodbye.
Strikeout number 2 by Clippard, and the Nationals are 1 out away from a badly needed win after losing their first 5 games on this homestand.
Lou Bayou. Watch the late break movement of this 4-seam fastball. It's almost like a 92-mile-an-hour cutter.
And Jody Garrett, the hitter, 1 for 2 with an RBI last time. Craig Stammen went 6 1/3, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, only 1 walk. Pitched to contact, only struck out 1 batter, and he's in line for his 4th major league win. Two 2-0 from Clippard. Brewers about to slip to 4 under 500 on the road and 3 under overall. They're at the stage of their season where they need to play .600 ball or better to have any shot in the wild card race. That's a called strike.
That's some giddy up on it right at the end.
And a crowd of 21,484 waiting for Clippard to get this one over with. On a ball to right field, Going back and back is Padilla, and the losing streak is over. About time. A well-pitched game, a well-played game by the Nats, but most of all, Rob, the offense awesome again.